Welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video I will be giving 5 tips on how to manage your hunger levels during a fat loss diet. It doesn't matter how you lost your weight over a given period of time, the main driver is a calorie deficit. So it doesn't matter how many days you are in a surplus or in a deficit. The main driver is that you were enough days in a deficit which resulted in your weight loss or fat loss. And it doesn't matter how you achieve that. But when you go on a fat loss diet or on a weight loss diet, you will see phrases or hear people say that you have to move more and eat less. For someone who is a newbie into how to create their own fat loss or weight loss plan and how to stick to it, manage all kinds of variables, it could be overwhelming. So through my videos I try to help. So I'm also a coach, I also coach people, but through these videos I want to reach a wider or bigger audience. So there is some information which you can use, and my style of presenting or topics is more likely to be, it's very practical, you can use and try it yourself. I always tell that it depends on the individual, so everything I say, try it, experiment with it, but eventually you have to make it your own. So as I have explained, calorie deficit is the main driver to your weight loss, fat loss goal. But on the way you will encounter various challenges. And in today's video I want to focus on hunger levels, so how to manage your hunger levels. But beside hunger levels, there could be all kind of challenges on this path. For example, your mind. If you are 3 or 4 weeks on a fat loss diet, and initially, in initial phase, in the first 2 weeks, you see a big drop in weight, but in the 3rd, 4th, 5th week, you see that the weight drops as much as it did in the initial weeks. So that can play with your mind, and you think or convince yourself, oh, this diet is nothing, and you stop with the diet and you try another diet and you see initial drop. Well, after your first diet you will increase your weight and start a new diet, and you'll see again an initial drop, give it some time, and then you will see your weight loss stalls again, and you will be stuck in that pattern, also called yo-yo dieting. But besides that yo-yo dieting, mind games in which you convince yourself that this diet is nothing for me, which you based on very early result based. Other things that can play are drop in energy levels. It could be that you are a parent, and you also work, so you have many responsibilities during the day, week, month, and it also can fluctuate during the week, that you have to focus on family on certain days and then on work certain days, or you have to multitask. So your energy goes everywhere. But when you restrict your calories, when you're in fat loss phase, you will deprive yourself in energy, so you have to have another challenge to how to manage your energy levels. And the topic of today are hunger levels. So also when you deprive yourself in calories, in energy, you will get hungry. You will not get around it. But in this video I want to provide 5 tips on how to manage your hunger levels properly. The first tip, that is, increase your protein intake or keep it high during your fat loss diet. For me, my protein levels and also my fat intake, are stable rather on a bulk or on fat loss diet. They don't differ very much. Fats go a little bit down, but okay. Proteins are just not for for people who want bodybuilders or powerlifters who want to increase muscle mass. Proteins also serves as a great tool to keep yourself satiated, so to suppress your hunger levels. So if you have difficulties to manage hunger, so your hunger levels are very high from meal to meal, try increase your protein intake in every meal. And my tip is to start with solid protein meals. Don't start with shakes right away, but start with the foods which you already eat. For example, if you eat eggs in the morning, or you have eggs in your diet overall, or you have meat or dairy, for example, quark, cottage cheese, try increasing that already a bit in your current diet and spread it over the meals. So don't use all your protein in one meal and such that you don't have the protein left in your other meals. Try to spread it. So try to increase your current protein intake with the foods you already eat, so the protein-rich foods which you already eat, and then also try to spread it throughout the day. Number 2 is when you are in a calorie deficit, you have to lower your calorie intake. And when you lower your calorie intake, most people suddenly drop their food volume. Food volume then has an effect when it increased is that you have very less food which actually goes into your stomach. So pay attention when you, for example, let's start with an example. For example, if you're a person who eats pasta at dinner, and you have like a really proper satiating meal of pasta which fills your stomach as well, but also gives you a satisfied feeling that you have eaten well. But when you go on a fat loss diet, you say, okay, pasta that is probably making me fat, so I will drop the pasta, and then you switch, for example, to rice crackers with a spread, with some kind of spread which is very low in calorie. But what you did then, going from pasta to those rice crackers, is that you didn't only lowered your calories, but also the food volume. And the food volume, when that's decreased, is not that filling anymore. So that food which the pasta did serve two goals. It satisfied you with the energy, calories, but also with the food volume. Now you have dropped both. So the tip is, when you drop your calories, try to maintain that food volume. So create a meal which is low in calories but very filling, so which actually stretches your stomach. It could be that your current pasta meal, the big meal, you can create that meal into a pasta salad. So for example, you can reduce the total pasta by 50%, so drop the 50% of pasta, put that pasta in a bowl and put a lot of veggies into it. So also green leaves are very low in calorie but also filling. And you can experiment with different kind of salads. Another thing is that you also can experiment with, for example, with oatmeal, of other kinds of meal, but I will take oatmeal as an example. You can experiment with introducing or making the oatmeal with more water, so that the oatmeal absorbs the water, such that the oatmeal becomes larger in size, but is same in calorie content. So you still have the same calories, but by introducing more water, the volume becomes bigger, which eventually will serve as a filler into your stomach. So your stomach will be more full with the same calories. I hope that this tip is clear. So I have given you two examples with the salad and also with the oatmeal, how you can play with the water absorption in your meals. Tip number 3, sleep. Sleep is very important. Everyone has experienced nights in which they didn't optimally slept, but also when you have like a very busy schedule, lots of responsibilities, you have to give your energy to different kind of tasks, responsibilities, as I also explained earlier in this video. You could be a parent, working parent, so you need a lot of energy. A bad night of sleep can cause that your energy levels drop, or you don't feel focused anymore, and they can be negative in your can have a negative impact in your lifestyle overall. But deficiency in sleep can also result in higher hunger levels. How does that cause? There are two hunger hormones, as well, two of which I know. ghrelin and leptin, which can cause a hunger response in your body. The first hunger response is when you go in lower in calorie are already caused by those hunger hormones, which increase your hunger levels. So already when you go lower in calorie, lower in energies, those hunger hormones, those hormones release hormones which cause you to feel hungrier during the day, because your body needs energy. The hormones sense that you are depriving yourself, so food must be eaten, is what your hormones are telling you. But when you're sleep deficient, those hormones can, on top of the impact which you already received due to going low in calorie, on top of that, if you're also not sleeping well, those hormones can release more hormones which can make you feel more hungrier. So sleep is very important. So keep a good sleep hygiene. Number 4, that is cardio. And cardio session can have impact on your hunger levels. You can distinguish between low intensity cardio or high intensity cardio. And high intensity cardio can deliver or can result in a higher hunger response. You might not feel that hunger after your cardio sessions, but after 2-3 hours that cardio session, you can feel that urge to eat. So that hunger level will catch up with the high intensity cardio session which you had earlier in the day. So when you're not prepared, so you don't have food prepared, you might be triggered to eat anything inside, because that hunger response can be very high. So I'm not saying that low intensity cardio is better than high intensity cardio. I'm only saying if your purpose to do that cardio is to burn off calories, make sure that you don't eat too much calories later in the day, such that you offset the calorie burned with the calorie eaten, or totally offset. So keep that in mind. So cardio can have an impact on your hunger levels. Walking, bicycling, going on a bicycle for a ride on an easy pace doesn't have a much great impact on your hunger levels. So that's a great tool to burn some calories, but it just takes time. High intensity work is very short in time, so it is time efficient. So if you don't have much time, it's time efficient, but keep in mind that it can give a greater hunger response later in the day. So make sure that you account for that. Number 5, caffeine. So cup of coffee, pre-workouts, any other supplements which has caffeine. Caffeine is a hunger suppressor, so it suppresses your hunger levels. I don't advise caffeine straight away to my clients. I'm very careful, because I'm very sensitive to caffeine, so I try to keep it low. The main guidelines is that you stay below 400 milligram a day, and I'm somewhere between 200 or 300, and I can go higher than 300 and stay between 300 or 400 on a diet, or go even further than 400 if I'm on the end of my diet, and then I scale back to what is for me sustainable. So I'm very sensitive. If I have clients which do not have caffeine in their diet, I don't straight away advise it. So this tip is for a reason number 5, not number 1. So if you're already to look at your caffeine intake at the moment, if it's already very high, don't use caffeine anymore. Maybe think of it strategically placing between meals, so that you can stretch the time between meals, so that you feel less hungry during 2 meals. So this is some very individual. So if you are really sensitive to caffeine or don't like caffeine, it's no problem. I have given 4 tips before for this tip, so look at those. And there are many other tips you can use to suppress your hunger levels, but these are the main ones which worked for me and for my clients. So use that, experiment with these tips. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you for watching.